It starts with a name. A character is chosen for one reason or many. They get a core, a basic definition. It's buttressed with concepts and detailing. Eventually, what comes out is a fighter, shiny and new, to be played with and played against and litigated endlessly online. It's not surprising Super Smash Bros. Engenders so much discussion over its characters. The crossover is immensely popular, critically acclaimed, and carries a prestige few games of its nature have. Debates over the characters chosen and speculation for ones who might be are inescapable within video game discourse. Truthfully though, from the beginning Smash has largely been consistent in the choosing and making of its fighters. And exploring that is the impetus for our new series. In Fighter's Spirit, we'll be looking at the many fighters of Super Smash Bros. And exploring what makes them tick. Our first subject, and the first Smash fighter of all, Mario. Smash Bros. Creator Masahiro Sakurai tends to call Mario Mr. Video Game. The cute affectation points to the fact that Mario's a big deal, the biggest in the series in fact. The plumber, Nintendo's mascot, is one of the main faces of the gaming industry. He's instantly iconic and carries many tropes that are known not just to gamers, but audiences across the world. And those tropes have to be retained, at least to some fashion, in every one of his iterations. There's an edict of branding there, but it can be helpful for his development. Whether Mario's in a traditional adventure or a wild spin-off, he carries and holds a number of expectations. Smash, as one of Nintendo's biggest spin-offs, recognizes this. Fortunately, that's worked for the series as it ensures that Mario helps lead and define the game's style. In most games that feature him, Mario tends to be the most balanced, normal, average character. He holds no weaknesses, nor significant strengths, making him an easy-to-use character for newcomers, who, hopefully, will still find him compelling over time. It's appropriate that he takes the upper leftmost position on any roster. He's often the first name and face players see. Smash Bros. Has consistently followed this. Mario is the center of Smash, the design around which everyone balances and one of the first characters built during development. His weight is rarely at the exact center of the scale, but it's usually close. His stats are either average or above average. Even his design tends to set the scale for the game's art style. Super Smash Bros. Melee, Brawl, and Ultimate use a sort of light grit detailing for its characters, and the direction tends to be clearest with his modeling and textures. Every Smash Bros. Fighter is designed around a basic core. Though it may reflect their history or hold some sort of broader reference, it's more important in defining how they play and feel. Characters like the light Pikachu or heavy Ganondorf tend to fight based around their weight. People who rely on weapons, like Mega Man or Byleth, have strengths and weaknesses defined by their tools. The more mechanically imaginative types, your Olimars and Steves, aggressively take their ideas as far as they can. And what is Mario's core? It's averageness and accessibility. Mario is the easy-to-use character, the one who holds your hand into each new game. He's the gaming equivalent of chamomile tea, Columbo, the ink spots. In Smash, as is life, Mario is normal, welcoming, and satisfying because of it. Like most of the original Super Smash Bros. Cast, Mario's moves are largely easy to understand. They're not meant to be as mechanically complex as later Smash characters, nor are they filled with wild mechanics or deep cuts from the hero's storied history. His attacks are just solid. Their power and range are clear whether playing as or against him, and they offer a decent variety of sweeping motions, focused blows, and easy strikes. And that works for Mario. Fans often expect newcomers to be inundated with references in their every action, with animations and attacks taken from even the most obscure sources. But there are cases where that just get in the way of the core idea that drives the fighter, and in Mario's case, having moves that are very basic and easy to understand carries the nature of him being accessible and open. Friendly even. Even his taunts are friendly and silly, like a burst of positivity. Which is pretty helpful in a game equal parts friendly and raucous. Though it hasn't always been quite so good. Mario struggled somewhat in the first 3 Smash Bros. Games because they often gave him weak, underperforming stats. It led to a character who was often passed over in favor of rivals with more defined skills. Fortunately, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U were comfortable giving all of his abilities just enough of a boost to let that jack-of-all-trades approach sing. Mario's openness and clarity also had to define his special moves, the most popular part of a Smash fighter. They're the splashiest, they tend to define each character's playstyle, and they're where the biggest references go. So it's important that throwing them around is going to be useful and fun. Mario's are good on that front, but they also have value specifically as reference. Mario's up special shows off the most famous jump in pop culture since Superman, and the Fireball, Cape, Flood, and Mario Tornado are all very iconic in their own way. That iconography is something the vast majority of the roster can't have, and it's helpful to use it as a tool to orient players. But the references aren't just to Mario, they're to Street Fighter. Mario's original specials, Fireball, Uppercut, and Spin Attack, are blatantly cribbed from Ryu, 16 years before Street Fighter's Golden Boy got into Smash itself. Ryu's moves are incredibly iconic. There was a time where it was rare to find a fighting game mascot who didn't carry a basic projectile, anti-air counter, and forward attack. They were easy to use, and they were staples for a genre that spent much of the 90s indebted to Street Fighter. Mario's incorporation of these moves is almost a way of tying Smash, an especially weird outlier in 1999, to the fighting game legacy. So we have a character whose identity is wrapped in the concept of him being comfortable to use. Even Mario's design and outfit, one of Nintendo's best character designs, works on that front. His red cap and shirt are instantly viewable in a battle, and almost all his excellent alternate colors use top-tier color matching, alongside carrying a number of great callbacks to Mario history. He's not too big, not too small, and every action he makes is clear. The one outlier in all of this is the Flood. In Brawl, the Mario Tornado was replaced with the water gun from Super Mario Sunshine, though it ended up transferred to Mario's down aerial. The latter has been Mario's down special ever since. It's an odd addition. The move references what was then the biggest mainline Mario game, a deeply controversial and unique entry in the Mario canon. It's also a rather difficult and gimmicky ability. You spray non-damaging water to push foes away. It allows some rather neat techniques like spraying a rival jumping back to the stage, but it's hard to use. You have to recharge the water, aim the nozzle, and it's also slow compared to Mario's otherwise fast and direct style. Perhaps it makes sense that Mario would get an odd, hard-to-use move in a game that reveled in weirder character designs. Brawl kicked off a series trend of mechanically odd and unique fighters. Maybe there's a value in the most baseline fighter of all having a bit of that, as a sort of balance for the roster. That's probably not unfair, but the silly, awkward Flood is also fun to see beyond that. It's kinda neat how even the most normal guy in Nintendo has one really weird, inscrutable move. And unfortunately, Mario doesn't have to be the only normal guy in the crew. His original Smash Bros. Castmates help share that burden. And if it's weird, it only is in contrast to an otherwise very easy, sensible, and accessible Kit. Mario is soft, he's approachable, but he's also solid. You can always depend on Mario in Smash because you can always depend on Mario, and you can always depend on Mario because you can always depend on a Mario game. That quality is a not small part of why the Plumbers endured over the years, and Nintendo spent many decades building a reputation for him and for them. And Nintendo's crossover fighting game was always going to need to have that. Mario is the center, the mass around which the series orbits. It had to be that way because he's one of the biggest gaming icons on the planet, but it was for the best that he was. He provides a strong fighter and a strong foundation. And he holds qualities that make him not just a strong Smash fighter, which is, to be clear, the most important thing a Smash fighter can be, but also a strong translation of Nintendo's core values into a bizarre fighting party game. So that's Mario. Nintendo's main man is a staple of Smash, of course, but he's not the only one. We won't be exactly going in order for the rest of these series fighters, so why don't you mention a fighter you'd like to see in the comments? And in the meantime, maybe hit that subscribe button for more Source Gaming news. You might also like to back us on Patreon. There's a link for that in the description. As for our Patreons you can see on the screen, thank you all so much for your generous support. This has been Wolfman Jew, Unscripted Mike, with NantenJex's Editor Supreme. And always remember to return to the source.